Hey there, Ride the Car Guy here, and today we're going to add a light bar to the front of our Xterra. Now, I picked up this kit from Harbor Freight, actually. I've heard pretty decent things about them, and I decided to give it a try. It feels pretty well built. It has an IP67 rating, and it should do a good job for us. It claims to have a combination of flood and spot, so hopefully we get a nice range of light out of it. And this looks like it's going to be a pretty white light based on the photos and reviews that I've seen. The kit has, of course, the light itself, and then it has a connector that you can connect to it, and it goes off to just your classic black and red positive and negative cables, and of course the bracketry to connect it all to the vehicle. If you follow along on my videos, then you know that I've previously had stock fog lights in the stock location. I not only installed the fog lights, but I also installed the new stalk in the steering column to accommodate the fog light button. 7 days after I installed those lights, they were broken by some debris on the road, so super great. But what that means is, not only is the wiring already in here, because the wiring's always been here, but I have my new stalk with the fog light button that is just not being used. And that's where these come in. I found online well, really it's just an extender, but it's an H11 extender for the fog lights for the Xterra. What this is going to allow us to do is plug directly into the stock connector for the fog lights. From there, we just cut the end off of this, and now we have a nice positive and negative lead that's controlled by the switch inside the stock. Before we continue, I want you to know that even if your Xterra didn't come with the stock fog lights, you can still do it this way. The wiring will still be there, and you just have to replace the stock out of the steering column. My stock and actually the original fog lights were pulled from a salvage Xterra, so if you go out to a junkyard, find one that has fog lights, pull the stock, and you're ready to rock. Should be a couple dollar fix. So let's grab our light. We're going to put it right here, of course. We're going to test fit it, make sure it's where we want it to be, drill it in, plug it in, and test it. All right, let's grab our light here. This is the, I don't think I said it, but this is the 22-inch. And is there like an up and down? Kind of doesn't seem that way. Whatever. Let's slide it in here. I'm just going to grab the wire, just feed it back. And then it looks like, oh, all right. Well, for starters, it looks like we have these little support bars here, and there's 2 of them. I don't know if they're for looks or if they're actually structural, but we have the metal bumpers below all of this. So I would doubt very highly that this is actually going to hold anything up. So we could probably cut these out without issue. Yeah, I think I want it slid back a little bit further, so we'll probably have to cut those out. But all in all, like vertically, it looks like it fits just fine, and of course, no issue side to side. So let's go chop those things out. I think that should be all right, right? We'll see. All right, here goes nothing. It's a little floppier than before, but I don't think it's anything to be too worried about. Be careful pushing too hard, because you'll smack right into your radiator. There we go. Now if we take our light, probably look a lot better. Oh yeah. Now we can go back as far as we want. So I probably want it flush with that, where it starts to bevel. That's pretty cool. And now we have a nice flat surface to mount our brackets on as well. So let's grab our brackets. I'm going to install them on this first, and then make sure it still sits, you know, nice and cleanly in here, and then we'll mark where we want it, and then drill the holes. When you're mounting these, you can mount them like this, or you can mount them outward. It kind of just depends on how you want it to look. I want mine tucked underneath. I think it's just going to give a bit of a cleaner look. The hardware in this kit actually feels pretty nice. Feels like almost like they're stainless, but makes you wonder how many hours it will take to rust. All right, to center my light, I'm going to grab a little bit of tape, and I'm going to put it, well, generally in the center here. And then I'm going to measure my opening from this location to that location. It's 32. So that means we're going to go with 16 as the center. So I'm just going to put a marking at 16. There we go. So there's our center line. And I'm going to do the same thing on the light. 21. The body is 21 3/4. So we're going to make it, it says 10.875. So we're going to go right about here. Oh, I guess there's there's literally a line between 2 of the LED pods, but whatever. Now if we take that, feed our line back again, and then when these 2 lines are aligned. Uh-oh, my bracket's making it awfully tall. There we go. When these two lines are aligned, I know that it's centered. That looks pretty good. You can also double check. You can just grab your measuring tape and of course just measure the distance over here, and it should match the distance over here, which actually it looks like it doesn't. Does that look like it's centered? It looks off to me. 4.5. No, 4.5, interesting. All right, with that exactly where I want it, I'm going to tape off the two sides of each of the brackets so I know exactly where to set them when the light's no longer there. A little mark on both sides of the bracket. All right, now when I take the light off, I can set the brackets down and they're gonna be exactly where they were with the light on there. All right, let's pull these off. I'm pulling the brackets back off so we can get them mounted. Now on the Xterra, I can't really speak for the Frontier or Pathy, which I assume it's gonna be the same, but you know, check yourself. If I stick my fingers under here, there's a steel support bar, like the actual bumper, right? We call these bumpers, this is just a bumper cover. But right underneath, if you push down, you'll feel there's steel there. So what I'm thinking about doing, because I like the path of least resistance here, is marking this down and getting a self-tapping metal screw. And I think that'd make my life really easy. So I'll probably drill through the plastic, get to that steel, and then once I get to the steel, go tap that self-tapping screw. For now, I'm just going to mark that hole. So I'm going to line it back up to where I had it before. There we go. That's where my hole needs to be. All right, I'm just going to be really careful and sort of apply a little bit of pressure just to get through this plastic. And you have this piece and you have another piece underneath you need to get through. So let's see how this goes. Can I already tell you I don't like that. I'm gonna grab just a couple layers of tape. Doesn't really matter on my Xterra because these bumpers already been through hell and back, but I'm just gonna put a couple layers of tape. So if I do just bump up against the bumper with my drill, it's not the end of the world. All right. This is stupid, hold on. I'm switching to a metal bit because it has that little tiny tip on it. See if that works. Yeah, there we go. All right. There we go. Now with that started, should be able to go back to my regular bit and get through that. Yeah, there we go. Do it again. Cool, what just fell? Oh, it was the bracket on the other side. I had it sitting over there. Moving on. Now you can see we have a hole here. It's not pretty, but now I don't have to work that bolt through all that. So I'm gonna go grab my bolt and then we'll figure out how to get that thing tapped. I took off this cover to kind of just get a better view of what I'm trying to do here. And I still can't seem to get the right angle to actually get through this steel. The steel must be pretty darn tough. I mean, it is your bumper, so it probably is pretty thick. So I hate to say it, but I think we're actually gonna have to remove the bumper cover. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a lot of little things. But on top of all that, I don't want to do that today. So I'll see you back here tomorrow and we'll knock this out. Now, I don't want you guys to feel discouraged by this. If you've never taken the grill or the bumper cover off of an Xterra, it's really quite easy. So we're just gonna pop the hood. There's a couple body clips that we need to take off the top of the grill, a couple simple clips down below. There it is. And then just a couple screws around the bumper cover and it should pop right off. There are 6 little body panel clips up here. These are the ones where you just throw like a little flathead in there, pop the top and pull it right out. Really simple. I keep a pack of spare clips. You can get them online. I'll put a link down in the description below. If this is the first time you're doing it, you'll probably break them. A lot of these are replacements on mine, so they just get brittle over time. And so just keep a pack. It makes it really easy. Once you have those out, you have 2 sort of pressure clips on the side, and then you have 2, is it 2? Let's see. No, it looks like maybe 4 little clips you just need to push up with your finger. I'll show you a picture here. It's, can't really see it with the camera, but these little clips here, you just have to push up with your fingers before the bottom will actually slide out. All right, that was about a minute and a half worth of work. Looks like there's gonna be another 5 body clips I have a couple missing. I'll probably replace those now that we have the chance, but remove those as well since we're here. And then we just need to take some screws and bolts around the outside off, and it'll just pop right off. That would be an example of an old one. Completely shredded. It looks like I zip tied, real genius move. I zip tied my front facing camera cable to this, so I have to cut that and re-zip it. Now inside your wheel wells, you're gonna have 2 screws here and then another 2 on the bottom holding the wheel well cover in place. Remove those, of course, on both sides. And then once we have those loose, you'll be able to peel this back a little bit, and there's gonna be a 10mm bolt back here we need to pull out as well. So if you just have like a little stubby screwdriver, that's gonna work best for the wheel well screws. Pull those off. I'm gonna take the 2 off from the bottom as well. All right, with that loose, we're gonna peel this back. There we go. And I'll show you that bolt up there as well. All right, if we pull back right here, you should see that bolt right there. And that's gonna bolt the kind of really the main support, if we're being honest, of the side of the bumper into the fender. So just pull that out. Try not to drop it into the, well, whatever. It'll just fall down here, good. Repeat this process on the other side, the other wheel well. And then of course there's gonna be, I think there's 4, again, a lot of them are missing, but I think there's 4 on the bottom of the bumper as well. Let's go take a look at that. There is, it looks like 4 bolts. Most of mine are missing, but I'll show you a picture of the 4 that need to come out from the bottom. They screw into like your little skid plate dealy. Let me see how much slack I have on my camera. I might have to remove that. Well, let's just roll the dice and see what happens, shall we? I also grabbed just a piece of wood. You can grab some cardboard or something. I don't really want to set it on the concrete, scrape it up. But once you have those 4 bolts out, there's going to be a couple little, I think they're little body type clips, like pressure clips that slide in and align underneath the headlights. So just be wary of that when you're pulling it off. There we go, there's one. Oh, that one was already loose, cool. And then just slide the whole front thing off. And sure enough, I don't have enough. That's annoying. Okay, well, come on, Rye. All right, I've actually found a little bit of extra slack. There we go. Down, well, I guess not down, but further up in the wiring. So I'm going to just be sort of gentle and set it down like this. I'm gonna grab this and just kind of cinch it up, only because that's gonna take pressure off of my cable here. You won't have to do this. You can just move your bumper away. I have a mark where I was trying to drill through the bumper. I have almost a straight shot now, which is pretty nice. And then I also just scraped through the hole down here to where the other mark's gonna need to be, or the other bolt is. So I'm just gonna finish drilling this one, and I'll figure out how to do it correctly. And then I'll show you how to do it over here. Again, don't be discouraged by this, guys. In total, including shooting the video, this took me like 10 minutes to take off. This is really not a big deal. So now we have all the access we need. We're gonna keep going. All right, so I have a little scratch here. I don't know if you can see that very well, but while the bumper was still on and I had, the hole lined up, I just scratched inside the hole so I knew laterally where it needed to be. The other one I already have done, so I'm just gonna make sure that they're the right distance from the front of the bumper, so that way the light is aligned this way. And of course, we know the back and forth distance because, well, that's why I did the scratch. All right, so I know we're on this line and we want to be, what'd I say, 3/4 inch from the center of the hole. There we go. So we're gonna line that up right there, perfect. So this is where I want my hole. So I'm gonna line this up. Looks like, actually I can get to it from up here. So let me try to extend this. I'm trying to get as straight down as possible. So this might not be the wisest thing I've done, but I'm gonna put a punch on a punch here, because this one doesn't have a point on it. There we go. There we go. Should be enough to get some traction on that. Double check our measurement before we drill. Perfect. So I'm gonna grab my drill, and I have a self-tapping. It's smaller than the one I'm gonna use. I'm doing that just to get the hole started. All right, I'm gonna switch to a high-speed steel bit now that we kind of have it carved out, and there's kind of a nice place for the bit to sit. Man, how thick is this stuff? My gosh. I don't know what the heck's going on. And this is like the longest it's ever taken me to drill a pilot hole. I think I have a combination of thick steel and cheap bits. It's probably my issue here. Well, be careful. It slipped off and I pulled the nail back on my thumb and hit my other finger. Well, that's the risk you run, I guess. We're almost there. There we go. Sweet Jesus. That should be a good enough pilot hole for our actual bolt. So let's give it a try. There we go. Perfect. We are in. So now that those are in, I'm going to back it out. We're going to get, of course, do this on the other side, and then we're going to get the bumper cover back on and test fit everything. All right. Took off my bungee cord. And I'm just going to just gently set everything back into place. Not going to be popping anything in or anything like that. There we go. Have it generally in place. And then line up those holes. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and grab that plastic piece that I had taken off previously. Get that in place as well. I do notice there is quite a gap between the plastic bumper, the bumper cover, and the bumper itself. So I'm wondering if we should get spacers for that first. Let me take a look and see what I got. Yeah, I think that'll work. So I have little spacers. I'll show you a picture of them. I think I'm going to slide those in place and probably just take these and tape them down. And then that way it fills the gap between the plastic bumper and the metal bumper. It's a little funky, but I'm going to take this. This is just, again, just a little plastic spacer. I think these are from installing TVs or something. And I'm going to put it around the hole. And I'll just grab this. I don't really care about this tape being here. Tape over it. That'll keep it in place while we install the plastic bumper cover. And then when I push the bolt through, it'll just obviously just penetrate that tape. Did it to both sides. Now, when we take our bumper cover and throw it on here, it'll keep those in place. At this point, I'm going to grab our bracket back out, and you'll be able to see, well, actually the blue tape kind of helps. You'll be able to see where the bolt goes in, which is right here. There we go. And then just get your bracket on there and install it through into the steel bumper. Awesome. All right. That feels super sturdy. Excellent. Let's grab our light, throw it on here, see how it looks. Slide that back. Get these lined up and screwed in. I'm going to tentatively tighten these down, and then we're just going to deal with our wiring, which actually should be probably the easiest part based on how this has gone. Now that that's in place, that's actually going to act as quite a mount between your plastic bumper cover and your actual vehicle, or in this case, the bumper. And so I'm going to go back through and just snap everything back into place. Accessing the wiring for the fog light is actually really simple. So you can either do it right now while everything's still loose, or you can do it after everything's tightened back up. It really doesn't matter. But for the sake of demonstrating it, it'll be a lot easier because you can see all the wiring right here. So I'm going to leave this as it is, and then we're going to go connect the new harness we have that I bought, the little extender, and the harness that came with the light. This should be super simple. I have some shrink wrap. I have the lead here, and then of course I have the other lead coming from the light itself. So we're going to just extend these a little bit. Just grab them and peel those off a little bit, and then slide them into your butt connector. Squeeze it down. There we go, nice and tight. Do it again on this side. Very good. And then on this one, we want this side to connect into the vehicle. So we're going to go cut these over here. Extend those out. In fact, I'm probably going to cut the loom a little bit here to give me more space. There we go. And now we're going to cut some shrink wrap. We'll go right about there. That looks good. Cinch it down, see what happens. Yep. Nice. And then accomplish the same with our positive. There we go. Awesome. So I'm going to go grab my heat gun. We'll shrink these up, and then we're done. We'll have it connection from the vehicle harness to the light harness. Awesome, snap that back on. Heck yeah, super clean. Let's go plug it in and test it, super exciting. Now for this, we just take the side from the light, plug it directly in, make sure it snaps. Very good. It has a little weather seal on it, but if you wanted to, you know, electrical tape this, you certainly could. And then we're gonna lead this over. I'm gonna plug it into that side, the driver's side. So I'm gonna lead it over, and we can kind of zip tie it along the way if you want. Let's just have it follow this line here. This is for the horn and something else, I don't know. So we're gonna lean it up here, and then any additional slack we have, we can deal with over there. Excellent. And that also gives us a way to go ahead and zip tie it to everything, or zip tie it to this line all the way down. In fact, I'm gonna go over top of this. There we go. Now what's cool is if you have, of course, fog lights, you can still tap into it. We'll talk about that in a second, but if you don't, you can just pop off this cover, and then you're gonna have the connector just sitting up there taped. So let me get this off here. You just have to push a little tab. I'll show you here in a second. This right here, just push these in and it'll pop right off. Here is our connection from the light, and here's our connection to our existing fog, or you know, what would be the fog lights if they had them. So now that I added this connector in, we just grab this here, make sure, oh yikes, it can go in both ways. Interesting. It's definitely not keyed. Well, with LEDs, it just won't light up if it's the wrong way. So I'm gonna go flip it, flip the switch, see what happens. Well, all right, looked like it worked. So what if we pull that off, flip it around? All right, doesn't work. Perfect, we know we're good. This particular connection doesn't feel super sturdy, so I am gonna give this a little, yeah, look, it like slides in and out. I don't know, I probably damaged it at one point. But I'm gonna give this a little bit of tape just to make sure it stays tight in there. And then I'm gonna, of course, finish zip tying all the wire from the light over to the fog light area. And then if it kind of droops down in here, it doesn't really matter if it sits down here. There's no moving parts. But maybe I'll just get a little zip tie here, kind of keep everything nice and tidy. All right, that should keep it in place. Make sure you don't have any weirdness there. And let's zip tie and get this all reinstalled. At this point, just reverse the steps that you used to get the bumper cover off and reinstall the bumper cover. All right, so if we head in, and we have it integrated into our stock, remember. So in here, if we have to turn the lights on first, and then if we switch this on and off, we can see our light, of course, turns on and off. I love it. So what we'll do is tonight, we'll head out tonight, we'll go find a place where we can test this out, and we'll see how well it does. All right, so we're out here testing. We did a little bit of testing at home and just right in the driveway, and it seemed really bright. So we went out a little bit, and we're finding a place where we're not gonna bother anybody by turning them on, because technically you're not supposed to use them on the road. So here we are with our regular low beams. Let's flip them on here. Oh, all right. So substantially brighter. Here we go, flip them off. That's pretty damn bright. Here's my brights right now. And then there it is compared to the brights. Wow. So pretty darn bright and pretty good spread. It's definitely got, it definitely projects down the road, but I like how it kind of hits the sides as well. All in all, I have to say I really love it. First of all, I think it looks great on the Xterra. I think it's the perfect size for that spot. It looks and feels like it has pretty good build quality, and it performs well. Remember, if you do have fog lights already and you do want to keep them, you could just line tap into the existing wires for one of your fog lights. It shouldn't add that much additional stress. It shouldn't be popping fuses or anything. But if it does, certainly let me know in the comments below so we can let everyone else know. But that's going to do it for this video. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video, please go ahead, scroll down, click that like button, and of course, subscribe for more content like this. And if this video helps save you a lot of time or money, go ahead, scroll down, hit that thanks button, and send me a super thanks. See you in the next one.